Or are they just people? Like us?
St Mary's Church in the parish of Marshingtonton on the Oxfordshire-Buckinghamshire border is in Oxfordshire, so it's not quite on the border. It's a perfect early summer's morning, by which I mean it's early summer, not that it's particularly early in the morning, although, well, it is quite early, actually, and in fact I'm actually a bit late, otherwise it probably would have been early. Yes, it would have been, yes. It's 9:10, and I've come to meet Andrew Treverton, whose parish and whose church this is, although I haven't actually met him because I said I'd be here at 8:30, which still isn't all that early, really, but I took the wrong exit off the M40 and had to go almost halfway to Princess Risborough before I could find a place to turn round. Probably over halfway. Marvellous door. I wonder how old that is. For Andrew Treverton and a small number of the most committed of his congregation, each weekday starts with the act of morning prayer at 9 o'clock.
And guide us to do always what is right in your eyes.
A small huddle of people bowed together with the cool, still morning air hanging above them in the body of the church, washed clean by pale shouts. Christ, I think I should be kneeling now.
For one another and to you, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to anger.
Amen.
Amen.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness. Though we have rebelled against him, enter not into judgment with thy servant, O Lord.
Amen. Sorry.
For in thy sight shall no man living be justified.
Amen.
Amen.
Bye, Andrew.
Goodbye, Stuart. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye, Andrew.
Goodbye. Bye, Vera.
Oh, that was a lovely service.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Goodbye, yes.
Sorry, Roy Mallard.
Really? Well, Roy, yes, good.
Yes, people like us.
Really? Well, that's lovely, isn't it, Roy? Yes.
No, BBC Radio 4, people like us. It's Roy Mallard. I'm sorry I was late.
Oh, Roy Mallard, yes, of course. Hello.
Yes, I'm really sorry. I was fine until I turned off the M40 at junction too early, and then...
Grief, you must have gone halfway to Princess Risborough.
Yes, and so then
Probably over halfway.
Yes, so then I thought I'd slip in quietly and sit at the back. I hope I didn't disturb your congregation.
No, of course not. No, not at all. That's fine. In fact, they're always like that.
Right.
Morning, Andrew.
Morning, Margaret.
Andrew Treverton has been rector of Marshingtonton for the last 9 years. His is one of the few professions where you can still be regarded as young at the age of 48, and so at 44 Andrew is regarded as even younger. At 6'3", he's tall for any profession, except perhaps basketball, but he's too old for that, so it's not really an issue here. Although he's quietly spoken, particularly for a man of his height, he's got a wife and 2 children. With morning prayers over, the day is gathering momentum. His next commitment is the regular weekly meeting in his small office at the parish hall with Church Secretary Margaret Inwood.
Get us hot if you're interested.
Yes, that is interesting, isn't it? Yes.
And Elizabeth phoned to say that Ken's knees aren't so good, but Martin's very keen to lock up on Thursday.
Oh, good. That is good, yes, good. Have we got anything for him to lock up on Thursday?
I thought it might be nice if we could leave the door of the crypt open.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it?
If only we had a crypt.
Well, yes.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Well, that might be an idea.
Yes, please, I'd love one, thank you. Margaret's been a churchgoer for longer than she can remember, although it's an interesting question exactly how she could be sure of that. And having watched her family grow up and move away, including last year her husband Mike, she's now in a position to be able to devote time and energy to the church, an institution which to her has become something of a religion.
Now, there's next Wednesday's Good News meeting.
Oh, yes, right, yes.
I mean, is there any good news this week?
Well, that's a point, isn't it? Yes, it's a point.
Well, we could always postpone it until there is enough good news, couldn't we?
We could, yes. Or, I mean, to keep the momentum going, we could hold one, but just call it something a bit different.
We could, yes.
Couldn't we?
Quite good news meeting.
What about goodish news?
Or we could be more positive and come to things from another angle. No bad news meeting.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes,
good.
isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
OK, well, I think we're all right on the rest of the newsletter. Would you like another cup of tea?
I haven't had one yet.
Right. Now, as far as this coming Sunday goes, you're all right for the Gospels, aren't you?
Yes, I'll do the Gospels, yes.
So we just need somebody for the epistles, then. Brian's going to Cheltenham.
Oh, that's right, yes, he told me. What about Arthur?
Arthur's dead, I'm afraid.
Yes, he is, isn't he? I'll have to give this some thought.
And, of course, there's the other thing, this evening.
Oh, yes, this evening. Kenneth phoned me last night to say it's no longer a 70s evening.
Oh, dear. I know Dorothy had managed to get hold of some platform-heeled high-length boots.
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons it's no longer a 70s evening. The other thing...
Excuse me, that's fine, thank you.
The other thing is that apparently Kenneth's posters have caused a certain amount of confusion, and a lot of people thought it was a disco for people in their 70s.
There's another busy day in prospect, and it's 11:15 before the meeting is finally over. As far as Andrew is concerned, one of the great benefits of his job is that no 2 days are the
As
same.
far as I'm concerned, one of the great benefits of my job is that no 2 days are the same.
And today's a good example of that.
Well, it might be, or it might not be. I'm not sure yet. That's the whole point.
Yes. Oh, I see you've got electric windows.
Have I?
Yeah.
Thank you. That explains a lot. Yes.
He's on his way to the village of Cuddington to perform one of the more unusual of his duties as a vicar, and one for which he's had to don his full-length cassock, something which he does rarely these days when not in church, and which led to one or two interesting moments during the journey when he was temporarily unable to find the gear stick.
This is a couple, the Elliots, who've recently moved to the parish. They've built a new house and they've asked me to bless it.
And this doesn't happen very often.
I don't really know yet. As I say, they've only just moved here.
I see. Yes. Andrew had lost the directions to the Elliots' house, and after some fruitless searching, we eventually decided to go to the phone box and ring them for directions from there. There were further complications, however, since the Elliots, having just moved into the village, didn't know where the phone box was. When we finally arrived, they were obviously very pleased to see us.
Hello, Andrew. Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, well, that's ever so kind of you.
Absolutely.
Perhaps a bit later.
I feel guilty about dragging you out all this way.
Oh, not at all, no. It's nice to be asked.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Yes.
Well, perhaps later, maybe. Yes, that would be nice. Pamela, this is Roy Mullet. I think I mentioned on the phone that you might be with me.
Mallard, actually.
I'm so sorry. Roy
I
Mallard.
hope you don't mind me coming along.
No, not at all.
Right, actually, I meant
It's nice to meet you, Ray. Would you like a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Perhaps later.
Yes, well, look, perhaps you could have one when Andrew has one.
Oh, well...
Yes, that would be great. Yes, thanks. So, yes, I mean, this is a lovely place, isn't it?
At first, we weren't sure about the colour.
Well, it looks white to me.
I wanted white, whereas John wanted a colour that was a little less, well, white.
Good. Well, that's good, isn't it? Yes.
John's inside making some tea.
No, I'm not. Hello, John. Hello, Andrew. Well, I mean, it's lovely.
Come on through.
Well, thank you, yes. It's a bungalow, isn't it?
Well, we'd like to think so, yes.
Yes.
God, it is small.
And this is Mountfield.
Hello. Hello, Mountfield. Hello.
It's all right, it's quite a friendly building.
Yes, it is friendly, isn't it? Gosh, yes.
I think he thinks you're another dog.
Yes, I think he does. Yes.
To perform the ceremony, Andrew has brought with him some holy water in a small plastic container. And now with Pamela and John at his elbow, and with Mountfield somewhere under his cassock, he has to go into every room in the house and say a short prayer, the Asperges, accompanying each by sprinkling a small sprinkle of holy water with an asparagus. Well, a sprinkler.
And may their path through life be guided by you. Amen.
Amen.
May this lounge stroke dining room be a place of peace and happiness. Amen.
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 That water won't harm the television set, will it?
Yes, yes.
Only it's no cam stereo.
What's the water won't harm it?
It's a bit difficult, you know, with Mountfield.
I mean, it's holy, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is.
With the ceremony over, there was time now for reflection around the table in the Elliots' new kitchen.
Would you like another cup of tea, Andrew, or another biscuit?
Oh, well, no, I won't, thank you, no. My wife's made me promise I won't eat between meals.
Would you like a meal, then?
No, thanks, no. It's very kind of you to offer, though.
I wouldn't mind another biscuit, actually.
Of course, yes.
And it really is a lovely house, isn't it? I mean, you must be very pleased.
Well, we are, Andrew. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. I don't think there's any chocolate ones left.
No? All right. Okay.
Now, you must tell us, I mean, should we... how much do we...
Yes,
You must tell us.
Pardon?
Well, I mean, is there a set rate? Because...
No. I mean, I'm more than happy to do it. No, really. I mean, if people want to make a contribution to church funds, then of course that's fine. But, I mean, no.
Good.
Yes.
Would you like a cup of tea, Andrew?
Oh, well, that's...
What's happened to Mountfield? It's gone very quiet.
He must have gone out. I left the back door ajar for him.
No, he hasn't, actually.
He's probably tired out.
Yes, I think he probably is.
On the way back in the car, I asked Andrew how he felt about all this house blessing stuff.
Well, in terms of my own faith, something may or may not be something which is particularly significant. But if others see it as meaningful, then I think it becomes meaningful.
Yes, but surely if you extend that argument, you end up saying that all rituals, whatever they are equally valid as long as someone believes in them.
Yes, so I don't extend it.
No, right.
I mean, that would be silly.
Yes, so what you're saying is that it wouldn't make any difference if that, asparagus, you know, the sprinkler thing.
Aspergill, yeah.
Yeah, if it was, for instance, you know, just, in fact, well, like pastry brush, for instance.
Perhaps I can give you an example. Are you married?
Yes, I am, yes.
Really?
Yes?
Right. Well, when you got married, did you give your wife a ring?
Yes, I did.
Let me ask you then, do you believe in that ring?
Do I believe in it?
I mean, is that ring important to you both? Do you see it as significant? Is it something which the feelings you have for each other invest with importance?
Not really, no.
Oh.
No.
Come in. Shall I take your coat?
I'm not wearing a coat.
Right, good. It's just along there on the right.
Thanks.
No, it isn't. It's upstairs.
Andrew's wife, Sarah, works as a commissioning editor for a publishing company in Oxford. It's a job which allows her to work from home 2 days a week, since being a commissioning editor involves a lot of editing and commissioning mainly, and on those days she and Andrew are able to have lunch together.
What sort of a dog was it?
Some sort of terrier, I think.
Well, if you put them on the non-fast calories at low temp, you should be okay.
Good. What about the shoes, though? I mean, what do you think?
Well, it's just a question of whether it'll rot the stitching, isn't it?
Yes.
Did you bring my pastry brush bag?
Yes.
They originally met each other on a fell walking weekend in Cumbria. Sarah was at university in Lancaster studying history, and Andrew was on a fell walking weekend in Cumbria. So, when you married Sarah, you had no idea that you were going to be a vicar?
No, I didn't. I mean, I knew it would have quite a big effect on me, but I wasn't quite sure what at the time.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Sarah's always been a great believer that salad should be a mixture of hard and crunchy as well as the damp and, as it were, limp.
Yeah.
And I must say, she's converted me over the years. These peanuts are lovely, darling.
They're croutons.
Yes, good. I mean, they're good. What do you think?
Well, actually, I don't think I've quite managed so far to get one into my mouth. Andrew's original plan to go into the Foreign Office as a diplomat straight after coming down from Cambridge with a first in modern languages had to be modified because he couldn't get into Cambridge and he wasn't really very good at modern languages. In the end, he took a course in landscape architecture and he was in the process of establishing quite a name for himself, reciting busy roundabouts in quieter locations, when the experience occurred which was to change his whole life.
There was just this overpowering sense of being set free, of seeing familiar things in completely unfamiliar ways.
He just came home in the middle of the morning, sat at the kitchen table and talked and talked and talked.
Yes, that's right, I did.
Which was odd, because I was at work and there was no one there.
No, that's right, there wasn't.
It was a nervous breakdown.
Yes, it was, really, yes.
And it was at that point in your life that you came to God?
I like to think that...
Well, sorry, tricky little buggers, aren't they?
Yeah, I like to think that God came to me, though initially I wasn't sure what he was saying.
Well, you were sure, weren't you? You were just wrong.
Well, at the time...
You thought he was telling you to apply for the manager's job at Torquay United.
Excuse me.
Whilst Andrew was briefly out of the room, I asked Sarah whether she thought that being married to a vicar had changed her.
It's probably changed me subtly in lots of ways I'm not aware of.
Well, like what?
I don't know. I'm not aware of them.
Well, I mean, for instance, how did you... Well, that one really shifted. How did you react when Andrew announced his intention to give up his job and go off to theological college?
Well, I was pregnant when he told me.
Gosh, that's quite a reaction. So, I mean, do you share his beliefs and his faith?
That's a difficult one. I think perhaps that the best way of explaining it is to say that, no, I don't.
And is that something that can put a strain on your relationship?
Well, I think it... Are you married?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I am, yes.
Well, I think it's possible to respect the fact that something is very important to your partner without actually feeling its importance directly to yourself. I mean, In my work, I become very excited about the possibilities that are being opened up in the educational and academic world by interactive CD-ROM packages, and I think that...
That was Kenneth on the phone. He's worried that Dorothy's going to come in a miniskirt this evening.
Well, that's up to her, isn't it?
I think he's concerned about any small children that might be there.
Oh, I see, yes.
Hello, Nick. How are you? And this must be Louise's father. Hello.
Oh, it's my brother, Steve. He's going to be best man.
Hello. Hello. Good. Well, that's nice, isn't it?
After lunch, it's back to the church. Nick and Louise are to be married at St Mary's this Saturday, and today is the final rehearsal for the wedding. Nick lives and works as a policeman in Manchester. At least he works as a policeman. I don't know whether he lives as one as well. Anyway, he and his best man, Steve, had driven down together this morning following his stag night the night before.
Well, look, since Louise isn't here yet, would you like to know where the toilets are?
I don't need to go to the toilet just because Louise isn't here.
Good, good. Well, that's good. What about you, Steve?
Yes, I think Steve probably would like to know, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, you probably passed it on the way in. If you go back to the main door and turn...
Louise's parents, like many other people in the village, live locally, and she's been staying with them for the last week to make final preparations for the wedding, so the fact that she's late for the rehearsal is initially odd, and it goes on being odd for another quarter of an hour until her father arrives.
Sorry, everyone. Oh, sorry. Hello, Nick.
That's Nick.
Sorry. Sorry, Nick.
Well, that's okay, but where's Louise?
Oh, that's why I'm late. She and her mother went shopping in London this morning, and she just phoned to say that they're stuck at Paddington. Apparently the station's been sealed off.
Oh, dear, what's the matter?
I'm worried.
I mean, what's the matter at Paddington?
Oh, there's a bomb scare.
Oh, dear, are they safe?
No, bombs are really dangerous. Well, that's why I'm worried.
Later in the afternoon, news was to come through that the bomb scare had after all been a partial hoax, in that the bomb part of it hadn't been real, although the scare part of it had, of course, like all scares. Anyway, for the moment, the pressing question was that of how to have a wedding rehearsal without the bride.
Well, I think the best that we can do is to run through the whole thing a couple of times anyway, so that at least we all know what we're doing.
Couldn't he read in Louise's lines?
How would you feel about that, Ray?
Roy.
Roy?
Well, I mean, it's not something I've done before.
But at least you've been through the marriage service yourself.
Have you?
Yeah?
Really?
Yes, I have. It was hardly what I'd expected to be be when I'd left home that morning. I hadn't even been expecting it at lunchtime, or in fact at any time. I just hadn't been expecting it.
And forsaking all other, keep thee only unto him, as long as you both shall live.
I will. Yes, right.
Good. That's good. Okay, so now, who giveth this woman to be married to this man?
Dennis.
Me, I will.
Right. No, you don't actually say anything at this point, Dennis.
Nothing at all?
Well, no, not really.
Well, how do you know it's me?
Pardon?
Well, when you say you know, who's giving this man to be...
Woman?
Who's giving this woman to be married to this man? And, I mean, how do I... shall I nod, or...
Well, no, you would just step forward and, well, incline yourself towards me.
Incline myself?
Yes.
Like this?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's very, very good, yes. I mean, perhaps not quite so athletically.
You also let go of my hand at this point, I think.
Oh, well, yes, I think
sorry.
so. Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Right, so at this point, I'll take your right hand, Nick, and Louise's right hand. If, Dennis, you can just let go of Roy's hand.
Does it matter that I'm left-handed?
Well, no, I don't think that really matters.
It's just that, you know, I'm much better with my left hand.
Actually, I'm left-handed too.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't see why we couldn't...
Louise isn't. She's right-handed.
Is she? Well, look, let's stay with right hands for this bit of thing, shall we?
All right.
Is that comfortable?
Well...
Right, now, at this point, you might turn to each other, and if you, Nick, repeat after me...
I should be looking into Louise's eyes at this point, shouldn't I?
Yes, that might be nice.
I don't actually think you have to. I mean, it's not...
If you repeat after me, I, Nick, take you, Roy... Or Louise, of course.
Do I have to keep inclining all this time?
No, that's fine now.
I, Nick, take you, Ray.
Roy.
I, Nick, take you, Roy.
The rehearsal was cut short when Andrew had to leave for his next appointment.
I only really need to use it on cold or damp mornings. But it keeps coming right off in my hand.
Well, it's supposed to. It's a cigar lighter.
Is it? Well, good.
Yeah.
That's good, isn't it? Yes.
We were on our way to the neighbouring parish of Long Abbotsstone to visit one of Andrew's parishioners, but this was to be no social call, and it occurred to me that there might be comparisons to be drawn between his role and that of a social worker. So I drew some, and there were.
Well, I think that's where the church should be, out in the community.
Well, that's where it is. Out in the community. You can see it from here, look.
What?
The church.
No, what I mean is that's one of the criteria against which we're all going to be appraised from now on.
How do you mean?
Well, there's a scheme in operation now called peer appraisal. In fact, it's one of the issues which have polarised opinion in a number of ways recently.
2 ways, surely, if it's polarised.
Well, yes.
Like the ordination of women?
I do, personally, yes, very much.
Oh, good. Right. So, I mean, how does it work exactly?
Well, the basic theory behind it is really very simple.
Like all basic theories?
Well, we look at a number of areas, like management and action, the pastoral role, goal setting, visionary ministry, mission and outreach, Christian nurture and development, and so on. It's really a question of acknowledging that on one level it's important to think about the ministry in terms of professional development, and to begin...
The patchwork of the Oxfordshire countryside lay spread out in the mid-afternoon heat, and we passed fields in which gargantuan machines lurched and lumbered inexorably towards some common and symmetrical end, their drivers hidden from view in who knows what smoked glass, air-conditioned private worlds.
And to establish the criteria in terms of which we can regularly review performance. What did that sign just say?
Princess Riseborough, I think.
Oh, right.
Adrian is in his mid-40s. He's a successful product manager at the High Wycombe offices of a Japanese-owned electronics company. Today, though, in the middle of a weekday afternoon, he's sitting alone in his kitchen, plucked out of a busy life, suddenly unable to cope.
Suddenly unable to cope.
The one thing I've discovered is that it's important to talk.
Yes, but how will you know what to say to me?
I mean, it's important for you to talk.
Oh, I see, yes. Yes. Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, well.
Adrian was happily married to Kathy for 10 years, but then she told him that she wanted to leave him for someone else as soon as she could find someone else. So he was unhappily married to her for another 6 months, and he hasn't been married to her at all since last Friday, when the divorce papers finally came through.
Are you sleeping?
No, I just can't think of anything to say.
Are you sleeping generally, I mean?
No, I'm not hungry. I can't concentrate or remember anything. I'm not hungry.
Is there anyone else you're close to that you feel you can trust?
Well, I don't know. I suppose I've always found it embarrassing to talk to other people about my feelings.
There's no reason to, you know.
Right. It's the smell of her I miss most.
But there must be lots of other feelings that aren't embarrassing.
And another thing is I don't think there are any custard creams left.
Really? Oh, okay. Sorry.
I just can't stop crying. You see?
Adrian, all of us come to points in our lives like this, whether it's through loss or... well, mainly through loss, yes. It's as much a part of our lives as joy is. And it's just as important and natural as joy. In a way, it's what you're going through now that makes happiness, when it comes, possible and meaningful.
I know.
Oh. Good. That's good.
Hello? Oh, hello, Dan, yes. Look, can I phone you back later? I've got the vicar here at the moment and I'm just in the middle of crying. Yeah.
By the time we left, 6 o'clock had come and gone, as it always does, in fact. But Andrew's working day was still far from over.
Margaret, gosh, you are doing well. The only thing left, those 3 or 4 plates full of... Now, what are they?
Oh, I haven't had one of those.
I'm not sure what they are.
I mean, they're a bit like... Are they some sort of rock cake?
Yes, maybe they are, yes.
Those crunchy nut things, aren't they?
Vol-au-vents. They're bloody vol-au-vents.
Good, that's good. All right, Margaret.
Andrew was starting to make his way slowly round the room, pausing now and then and nodding. And when I realised that he was dancing, I took the opportunity to talk briefly to those who knew him best about their perceptions of him and of his role.
I suppose I see him first and foremost as Andrew, as an individual, rather than as a husband or a vicar. And, well, he sees me in the same way, except that he sees me as Sarah.
Right, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You've got such big feet.
Well, you know what they say.
Yes, anyway, you were saying...
What?
Andrew.
Oh, yes. There is overlap, of course, but I can't live his life, and he can't live mine.
So it's a bit like having separate toothbrushes, but keeping them in the same glass.
I think it's probably more like keeping them in separate glasses as well.
Right, yes, but then there wouldn't really be any areas of overlap.
No. Well, all right then. They'd be in the same glass then, yes.
I mean, they could still be different colours, couldn't they?
Yes. Yes, they could, yes.
Perhaps even, sort of different shapes.
Yes, some of them have got these heads at an angle.
Yeah.
Especially around a bristle.
Yes.
Is this all right?
Yes, this is... I mean, it's fine.
Or you can put them all around me if you want to,
No, that's fine, really. It's fine. In the end, perhaps what Andrew Treverton has done today, as he does every day, is to tread the fine line, or perhaps walk a tightrope, which is actually the same thing as treading a fine line, except higher up, between conflicting sets of expectations, between those who need to see him as a man set apart from, and perhaps even above, the rest of us, and those who want to see ministers in the church essentially as people like us.
For me, personally, to say that the significance of something in people's lives is in large part metaphorical isn't to discredit it. And I think that many people within the church are able to acknowledge that, without feeling that their faith is in any way diminished. In some ways, metaphor is perhaps the only mechanism by which we can understand and express what is, by definition, beyond our comprehension.
But, I mean, are you saying that God, or well, what we call God, well, I suppose God is what we call God, that God is, in fact, a metaphor for the unknowable?
Well, if he was, that's one of the things we wouldn't know.
So, yeah. Of course, this is what all that business to do with the Bishop of Durham was about, wasn't it?
Oh, well, now, that's different. He really was a bishop. I mean, quite literally.
Right. Yeah.
Roy Mallard would like to give a special thank you to Chris Langham, and also to Richard Hope, Linda Regan, Felicity Montague, Eva Stewart, Don McCorkindale and Rob Harley. The programme was written by John Morton and produced by Paul Schlesinger.
Oh, now, what did that sign say?
Princess Risborough.
Right. Right. Princess Risborough?
No, that sign said Princess Risborough.
Ah. Is it left?